What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Exact Cybersecurity and IT YouTube channel. I'm Brian, and I'm here to bring you an update about the FTC Safeguard Rule Amendment that was just recently adopted here in the last couple days. If you've ever worried about the safety of your financial information, or if you're a business that deals with or handles or stores people's personal or financial information, this update is going to be a game changer for you. So let's get into what the FTC Safeguard just changed in their safeguard rules right now. All right, so the Federal Trade Commission, or the FTC, has just rolled out a critical amendment to their safeguard rule, which affects how non-banking financial institutions handle your sensitive data. Now, this impacts a wide array of businesses, from mortgage brokers to your favorite car dealership. These businesses are now under even tighter regulations to keep your financial data safe from cyber criminals. The big deal in this update, or this amendment that has been recently passed, and today's November 1st, 2023, in case you were wondering. And as you can see, they felt the need to tighten up the restrictions on these rules. And it impacts even more businesses than the original rule that went into effect back in June. And the rule is meant to protect that sensitive data from falling into the hands or the prying eyes of people who shouldn't see it, otherwise known as unauthorized third parties. And this doesn't necessarily have to be criminal hackers, although it usually is. It could be any third party that really you don't expect their eyeballs to be on your data and your personal information. That's really an unauthorized third party, because you as the consumer are the one who authorizes that business, usually because you need it for the transaction to happen, but in no way, shape, or form are you giving permission for that company to allow anyone else to see that. And that's what the FTC really cares about. And as we see here, Samuel Levine from the FTC put it this way: companies that are trusted with sensitive financial information need to be transparent if that information has been compromised. And that's really the crux of what the rule amendment aims to achieve here. And that is that if your business is breached, you have to report this, and you can't just brush it under the rug like a lot of businesses do today. So what is in this rule? What are the details of this rule? Well, the main thing is, and the biggest part of it, this really impacts a lot of businesses if you think about it. If there's a breach that affects at least 500 consumers, these institutions have just 30 days to report it to the FTC. As we see with other regulations like the SEC rules that are going into effect in December, the immediate transparency is the name of the game. And that seems to be what the immediate outcome from the White House cybersecurity initiative, at least from the government's perspective, that's what we've seen first. The government wants to know when businesses have been hacked, and they want to know in a timely fashion so they can start to either inform your industry or similar industries that something is going on, you're targeted, you're under attack. And it also allows them to understand how frequently, how many times businesses are being attacked on a regular basis. So the other interesting point in this amendment, as I mentioned earlier, that this must be reported if the data, which is usually unencrypted, gets access without an individual's permission. So they basically cast a wide net here for accountability. So like I said, it doesn't necessarily have to be a cyber criminal that gets eyeballs on your information. It can happen a lot of different ways. So if you email sensitive information to somebody, let's just say maybe your accountant or your tax preparer, and you email that to them, and they store that information in their inbox of their email. They don't move it anywhere else. They keep it there. And another client happens to be in their office, and that email happens to be open and up. These are the types of things that can happen. Now, in that case, there's only one person who's impacted, so it really wouldn't be under these rules, but you could have an employee in your company who has prying eyes, and maybe they did see 500 records, or maybe 500 records got exposed some other way through some other means by not necessarily a cyber criminal, but maybe somebody outside of your organization or somebody inside your organization who doesn't necessarily have the right authority or permission to view the data of your customers, especially sensitive data. The good news is for some businesses, you have a little bit of time before this goes into effect. When the FTC actually publishes this to the Federal Register, businesses have 180 days before the amendment actually goes into place or goes into effect or will be enforced. Heed the warning. Businesses are now put on notice that they have a certain timeline that they have to notify once they become aware of a breach or some kind of data access from some third party who should not have access. So far, the FTC voted unanimously 3-0 to pass this measure to make sure that businesses are informing the public when their data has been exposed, because far too many times this is being brought to light because of information that we find on the dark web as security researchers. Information gets stolen, it goes into some dark web form where these cyber criminals are trading this information or selling this information or collaborating to put information together to target certain individuals. There's all kinds of scams and other hacks that result from businesses or smaller businesses getting hacked. We call these drive-by hacks. They actually have a term where maybe a smaller business data was stolen, not much else happened. They didn't get ransomware. They actually didn't even get extorted for the data that was stolen, but the cyber criminals felt that the data was valuable enough that they would take it and maybe they could use it, sell it, or do something else with it on the dark web. And a lot of times when companies figure this out, it's pretty far down the road from when the event actually happened a lot of times, although investment in technology and better cybersecurity can shorten that period of time. But at the end of the day, businesses have to report this stuff fairly quickly now. If you're a publicly traded company, the SEC requires it faster. The FTC requires it in 30 days for these non-banking financial institutions that they're covering with the safeguard rule. The reality of it is this is kind of like the flavor of the month for lawmakers, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing state laws and other laws that are out there being amended or in this way where they're requiring businesses to disclose within a certain period of time, not just disclose in general, but putting a specific time frame on when businesses need to disclose, which is absent from a lot of laws right now. And I think that we're going to see that change because this seems to be something that is working for at least the federal government so they can be more informed and also advise the public on what's going on out there, get ahead of this in a more holistic way than we're currently doing it. I'm all about the approach because I think sharing and getting information out there is critically important to get ahead of this stuff and be able to defend against what the cyber criminals are doing. So if you made it through this video this far, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and drop any comments or questions you have down below. Don't forget, we have our Small Business Tech Day event, Philadelphia, here in 2 weeks. It's an online virtual event. There's a link down in the description where you can sign up for free. And stay safe out there. I'll see you in the next video.